Good girl. She's like, oh, you wanted me here? Of course I wanted you here. My lovely. You ready for the podcast? Hey y'all, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany Garuba and you're here with my podcast, Sit Down Sundays, where we talk about lifestyle, mental health, and all things to just elevate your life to become your highest self. I'm kind of like your twin sister on this podcast. I say that because I'm going through all these changes right here with you. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you stick around. Today we're going to be talking about something a little bit different that we've never talked about here on the channel before, but it's a really, really big part of my life. We're going to be talking about dance. I've been dancing pretty much since I was a kid, and it was one of the biggest reasons why I moved out here to LA. So today specifically, we're going to be talking about Ysabelle Cap's Caps University program. I attended it last weekend and it was so amazing. I have so many good things to say, so many things to say in general. So I wanted to do a whole podcast video on it because there's just a lot. There's a lot. So let's get into it. To start off, the fact that this was Ysabelle's first program ever was absolutely insane. Like, you could have had me fooled. She could have been doing programs for literally years for all I knew. Like, when you start something, when you're doing something for the first time, normally people can see some mistakes, but from the outside, at least to me, there was literally no mistakes. There's not one thing that I could say like, I feel like this could have been better. Like, no, it was so good. If you have the chance, if she does another program, which I'm sure she will because she said she had such a great time, if she does another program, do it. Before we get into anything, literally just take my word for it and do it. But let's get into first what the weekend was like. I'm going to tell you all about what we did. I'm going to tell you my notes from the program, the things that I learned, and just all of it. Before the program even started, there was a submission process. So there was a couple questions that you had to answer, and then you had to put 2 videos in of you dancing. The questions were pretty basic. It was kind of anything that you would expect from a submission process. I feel like for any mentorship program, the questions being, what is one word that you think that you lack? And the last one was, why do you want to be a part of this program? So I feel like those questions are pretty basic for what would be asked of a submission process, but the answers that you gave to the questions were really important to the submission process. And then lastly, you just had to submit 2 videos of yourself dancing. I submitted one really recent video of me dancing, and then I don't even remember what the second video I sent. I remember the first video I sent was on my mama because I literally just recorded that and I was really proud of it, and I was like, yes, this is fire. I'm gonna send this one in. But yeah, I forget what the other one was. Strange. I'm sure it was a hip-hop one because she is a hip-hop teacher, so I'm sure it was a hip-hop dance. The program itself was only $200, which I was honestly really surprised about because it could have been way more expensive. Genuinely, it really could have. A lot of the mentorship programs out here in LA, they are here to take your money, take everything you have. No, I'm just kidding. Every mentorship program is definitely different. I have not been a part of every single mentorship program, so I definitely can't say, oh, this one is worth this money and this one is worth this money, but I can tell you that this is worth more than $200 and you should do it because it's $200 and you learn so much. So incredibly much. Like, I thought it was gonna be way more expensive. When I got the flyer for it, I was like, okay, I'm willing to spend bread on this. Like, I knew I was willing to go to a certain amount for this, especially because she's one of my biggest inspirations. But for it to be $200, I was like, you're really kind, because it could have been way more. So after I did the whole submission process and everything, I got a little email and it was like, welcome to Caps University, and I was like, bing, bing, bing. I was like, oh my God, this is so freaking lit. Just stop. Like, I think she sent the email and said like, I think you're super dope, like whatever. And I was like, oh my God, no freaking way. Like, I was manifesting that I was gonna make it into the program, and like I did, but I don't know how to explain this. Like, I was manifesting it, and when you manifest, you have to say like, I am in the program, like I'm already in the program, and blah blah blah. You have to just believe. But there's always that one little like negative Nancy in your mind that's like, but what if it doesn't happen? Like, but I'm so glad that I did get in. But after that, it was 3 days. So it was a weekend long. It was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But Friday, it was from 7 to 10. Saturday, it was from 12 to 6. And then we had a break. and then it was from 8 to 10. And then Sunday, it was from 11:30 to 3. So on the first day, and pretty much throughout the whole weekend, but mainly on the first day, she was selling merch. She was selling her Caps University with like alumni on the back. I got mine on the first day just because I wanted to make sure they still had the size in stock that I wanted. And along with the merch, we were getting little Polaroids taken of us, which I'll put my Polaroid in here because it's literally the cutest thing ever. I wanted to have my Caps University crew neck on for the Polaroid, so I made sure that I bought it before I got my Polaroid taken, which I thought that was the cutest thing ever. Like the little Polaroid, like we have a little memory of the whole entire event now. They videoed and took pictures of the whole entire weekend, so we're gonna see a lot of footage come out, and I'm so excited for that. We did introductions when we first got there, like after we got signed in and everything, and after everybody got their merch and got their Polaroid taken, we had to introduce ourselves, how old we were, where we were from, and then we also had to say what we were looking to get out of the program. I don't remember exactly 100% the words that I said, but I do remember saying that I wanted to be able to close the gap between my mental and my physical body and knowing what I can do and what I'm capable of, because I feel like, yeah, you can always dance, you can always go to class, you can always go to rehearsal and get better, but if you're not doing well mentally, you won't do well physically, in dance, in life, in anything, period. So just getting past everything mentally and being so strong mentally that all the no's that come my way, that all the downsides of every single career that I want to go into that come my way, being so strong mentally that I'm able to overcome all those things and push those things aside and still know that my dream is coming to me and that my manifestations are coming to me. So I definitely didn't say it in those words, obviously, and I was obviously very nervous. I was like, my name's Tiffany and I'm 23 years old, like shaking voice and everything. Because there was literally 80 people in the room, and I'm like, I don't know any of these people except for the one person sitting next to me, which thank God I knew her because it would have been even more nerve-wracking. But I think I also said gaining confidence, but confidence also comes with the mental, because physically I know that I'm a good dancer, that I'm good enough, but mentally the confidence needs to kick in a little more, you know what I mean? And getting into this program alone, I think that also helped, which I know that that's external validation, which kind of sucks, and it's not like an internal thing that's like, you know, you're good, but just being in the room with all these amazing dancers, like, is insane. Like, even these dancers that I don't even really know, I've seen them before, they're my peers, I've seen them dance, and they're all wickedly amazing. So even just being in the room, being like, I'm so grateful. There was about 80 of us, I'm pretty sure, but it really honestly didn't feel like there was 80 people in the room, because you would think a room full of 80 people would be so packed, but it genuinely wasn't. It felt like there was even more space, like more people could have been invited into the program, but she did want to have that extra space, so she capped it at the 80, I'm pretty sure, but it really didn't feel like 80. Majority of the other people that were introducing themselves, I saw there was kind of a pattern with what we were kind of all looking to get out of this program. It kind of seemed like dance was dead in a sense. It kind of seemed like nobody wanted to do it. Not that nobody wanted to be there. Everybody wanted to be there in the program, but everybody wanted to be there because of her. And everybody wanted to be there because, you know, they knew what they were going to learn. They knew they were going to learn even more than just dance. But there were so many people that were trying to find themselves again and find themselves in dance again and find their love for dance again, because it had become such a stressful and job career thing instead of just, you know, like fun, which is how it started off as. After the introductions, we journaled and she did a little bit of answering questions, and the rest of the night we pretty much just danced. We learned to dance to Cadillac by Victoria Monet, and it was so good. By the time we started the combo, we kind of only had like an hour and 30 minutes left, so it was pretty much the same amount of time as an actual class would be. The next day was Saturday, and it was from 12 to 6 and then from 8 to 10. The first thing that we did when we got there was meditate, so we could just clear our mind of anything that we were bringing in from outside, really just get into the zone, get into the space. And then from there we did some journaling, we wrote down some goals and some intentions that we had for the day, and then we said some affirmations out loud. Then we went into the more physical part of the day. We worked out first before we started dancing, and then we started dancing. We did Cadillac all over again. We went over every single detail to make sure that we were clean, and then we had to reverse the whole thing. We had to literally do one thing backwards. We had to flip it upside down, reverse it, backwards, forwards, everything that you could possibly think of. We had to do that, and that was like extremely hard. I feel like that is where my mental overwhelmingness, I don't know that word, but I was so overwhelmed mentally at that point because of how many different things in the same way that we had to do. Like, she literally said, reverse it, and I'm not helping you. And I was like, oh my God, which I've had to do that before. I've had to do that in my competition days. I've had to do it a bunch, like randomly in a random class where the teacher wants to, challenge us and whatnot. But it was really hard. It was really hard. And then we had to do some moves regular and some moves opposite. And then half the room would have to do one side one way, we would have to do the side normal. It was chaotic. It wasn't chaotic. It was chaotic in my brain. It was so chaotic in my brain. I think that's what made my mental capacity like just go down so much. But I truly needed that, because that's what happens in auditions, in rehearsals. They could literally say, I've heard so many choreographers and professional dancers and whoever just say like, oh yeah, like I was about to go on stage and then like they switched something up on me and this was literally going to be on TV and blah blah blah, and I had to pull it together or else I was probably going to be fired. And I would hate for that to happen to me, and I'm not calm enough and in the mindset enough to be able to switch something that quickly and then put it on stage. Like, that's insane. So I'm glad she did that, and I'll definitely be doing that more, because the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I'm gonna freaking go to class, learn a combo, come home, reverse the whole entire thing, just to challenge my brain and to get it, I can't snap with this hand, to get it, moving. So after we did Cadillac in detail, we got another lecture from her, and she taught us a little bit about how she choreographs, which I'll get into that a little bit later. And then we had to choreograph ourselves. So like I said, there was 80 people in the whole entire program, and we had split up into groups of 10. So there was about 10 people in each group. I don't think there was exactly 80. There was definitely a little bit less, but we each had groups of about 10, and then we had to come up with choreography to a Drake song. And it was very interesting because I had no idea what the song was. I had never heard the song before. I'm pretty sure I'm the only one who had never heard the song before, but it's just because I'm just not a Drake fan. Like, I just don't like Drake like that. But that's besides the point. I didn't know the song. It was very hard. Yeah, we had to choreograph with our group, and then we got to share with another group, and they got to teach us their choreography, and then we had to show it to the rest of the people in the program. That was pretty much the last thing that we did from the 12 to 6 time period. And then when we came back, we just had class. We got the option to pick between 2 different combos to learn from, and we all decided Dior was the one that we wanted to learn. So that was what the class was. She added like 25 more people to this class simply because there was room for it, and she wanted it to be a community class, which I think is great, because it wasn't like we were gonna learn any less than we did. And there were those who wanted to be in the program but couldn't be in the program because we were at max capacity, so she got to invite them to the class, which I think was great. So we learned Dior, and that was that for the class. And then the next day we had to come in from 11:30 to 3. When we got there, we journaled again, wrote down our goals, our intentions, and we also had to write down how we were feeling during the day. We did another little workout, and then we went right into dancing. We had a little time to practice all the combos that we had to know, those being Dior, Victoria Monet's Cadillac, which we had to know also reversed, and then we had to know the Drake combo that we came up with, as well as the other group's choreography that they came up with. And then she was going to do dance roulette. So she was going to pick random 2 groups at a time, and then we had to go up and she was just going to play a song, and we had to do whatever choreography that song was. So if my group went up there and she started playing Dior, we had to dance to Dior, and we had to know the choreo 100%. This was so nerve-wracking to me, because I was like, please do not let us get Victoria Monet reversed, because I don't know it. Like, it was crazy. But the entire program was just so mentally and physically draining, but like in the best way possible. Genuinely, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I truly feel like I have the tools to succeed on my own now, and not under the hands of someone else, and not in the sense of like, oh, I have an agent now or a job or whatever, like this program got me this. No, in the sense of this program gave me what I need to push through mentally to get to where I want to be, no matter if I have the agent or not, if I have anyone in my corner or not, or handing me something or not. I have that mentality that will get me through anything. This also might have just been very eye-opening to me because this is someone that I strongly look up to, that I now realize that I know her even more, having done a program with her, how much her values and my values align, and to just see that she's able to manifest the life that she literally wanted for herself just shows that I can do the same thing. Like, why can it not be me? Throughout the whole entire process, like I said, she was a complete open book. She even gave us a notebook that we could write on for the whole entire weekend and to keep. I'm going to talk about some of the notes that I had written down and some stuff that just really struck out in my brain. The first thing that she started out with was a quote that she takes everywhere with her throughout her life that she wanted us to remember for this weekend. And the quote is, "If you give someone a fish, they'll eat for one day, but if you teach someone how to fish, they'll eat forever." And the quote that I wanted to remind myself of the whole weekend is the quote that I take with myself throughout my whole life. And the quote is, "If you weren't ready, the opportunity would not have been handed to you." I think these two quotes do go hand in hand and work together really well, because I think that with the tools she gave us in this program, she is teaching us how to eat forever, and she's not just giving us that one fish. For example, if you take the example that I'd said before with a job or an agent, that would be that one fish, and then you would be eating, just that one dinner. But with her diving really deep with us into our mental is truly going to teach us how to last an entire lifetime. Her specific advice for the weekend was let go, let it go, be here, completely present. Some of the things that were said in the first lecture that really struck out to me that I wrote down were, no one is you, so comparison is irrelevant. Realize how special you are. No one wakes up and does what you do. You need to be happier in your life than in your career. And a question she said that really got to me, there were actually 3 questions that kind of go together, I would say, the second one being the one that really got to me. First question is, are you good enough? See, this one didn't get to me as much because this next one did. The next one is, do you think you're good enough? Not this is not somebody asking me oh, do you think you're good enough? Yeah, I think I'm good enough. Of course I think I'm good enough. I've been dancing my whole life, whatever, this, that, and the third. But then, do you yourself think you're good enough? That's where the issue lies. And then, when you have that issue, the third question comes up that she asks, what could you be doing more of? What could you be doing more of that would elevate your life more, that would make you think that you are worthy or that you are good enough? After the first day of dancing, we had to take some journal notes, and I want to read you some of the journal notes about how I felt and some of the raw emotions that I was having from that night. One of the first things that I wrote was that I felt present in the moment. I hadn't even realized that for the past 3 hours, I was not thinking about anything else except for dance. Especially when we were actually dancing. It's crazy because I'll be in class, and I'll be thinking about dinner. What am I gonna eat when I get home? I'm hungry, and what time is it and whatever. But something that she said in her lecture was that she really wanted us to just be present. Like I said, her advice for the weekend was to just let go and be here. And I really tried to do that. And during the whole entire first day, she really kept reminding us, be here, be present, And I was there the whole entire time. It wasn't I left the class for the first night and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna eat? What am I gonna do? What is life right now? I just danced, so I was having fun. I didn't once think about the outside world. The next thing that I wrote down is that I didn't beat myself up when I immediately didn't get the combo. I did in the beginning, but then Ysabelle said, pay attention to the thoughts that you're having, because even a little, get it together, Tiffany, is not the mindset that you want to have. Trust that you will get it, because you will. And I did end up getting it, if you're wondering. But yeah, then after that, once she made me aware of the thought that I was even doing that, I was like, oh girl, don't be doing that to yourself. No. And we stopped that. So that was great. Another thing I wrote down was that I was never worried about anything else during the class other than how can I make myself better, because the only thing that is standing in my way is myself. And I truly felt like the day was therapy through the energy of the people around me and the dancing and everything, through the lectures. The whole day was just the whole weekend was just exactly what I needed. I also wrote down that I learned that the way that I talk to myself matters, and that everything that I learned today I can bring into dance or any single part of my life, honestly. I wrote down that day really felt like I was falling in love with dance all over again. Cute. So the next day we came in and Ysabelle had started us out with a meditation, like I said, as well as journaling, and we had to write down the goals that we had for the day, the intentions that we had for the day as well. So coming in with everything that I had learned from day one, my goals that I had written down were stay completely present and focused, because that felt so good the day before. I did not want to keep talking to myself in a negative way, no matter how I dance, what the outcome of my dancing may be. As long as I'm doing my best, I want to let go and be less stressed about the outcome and have more fun, because this is what yesterday made me feel. The last thing I wrote was that I want to gain confidence in myself, that I am worthy and capable of the life that I want. Ysabelle's word for day 2 was proprioception, and this means perception or awareness of the position and movement of the body. So on day 2, aside from the dancing that I already told you about before, she took us through choreography, and like I said, I was going to tell you guys about this later. She took us through how she choreographs, which was a big help, because even though I do feel like I know how to choreograph, there's sometimes where I get stuck, and then like I'll either just stay stuck and not continue, or just scrap the whole thing, or there's a lot of things with choreography and art and just like mental blocks that are very hard to me. And she went through how she choreographs, which I thought was great, because nobody has ever given me like a point blank formula of how to choreograph, if that makes any sense. A lot of people honestly don't even know how they choreograph, to be honest. They just do it, which is also very valid, because I think if somebody were to ask me before having listened to what Ysabelle had to say about her choreographing, I probably would also be like, I don't know, I just kind of move and do it. There has never been a step-by-step formula, I feel like, in my life at least, and her giving that was so great. Did you guys hear that baby scream? Anyways, Ysabelle, even though she has a whole formula, you would think that she would gatekeep it. I feel like some people would want to gatekeep their formula of how to choreograph, but she's so secure in herself that she knows that even if she gives us the formula, we're going to come up with our own choreography. She's going to come up with her own choreography, and we're all going to be living in a harmonious little world, because we're all individuals, and even if we have her formula, we are not her, and she is not us. So one of the most important things that she said that you need to do when it comes to choreographing is actually dissecting the music. Literally just sitting there and listening to the music. It is half the battle of the actual choreographing itself. You need to get down to the root of what the song is actually about and how it makes you feel, and then you can look into the lyrics, the melodies, the harmonies, and the production of the song as well. Let the song tell you what to do. This piece of advice really, really helped me. If you're stuck on one thing, if you're stuck on the lyrics, if you don't know what to do, switch to something else in the music. If you're stuck on the beats, switch to the lyrics. If you're stuck on the lyrics, switch to the beats, vice versa. There's so many things that you could go from. You could go for how high he's singing, how low he's singing. There's so many different things that you can dance to in a song that she really opened my eyes to, because it's like, it's not just the beat and the lyrics, it's the way he sings the lyrics, it's the way the production is played, it's how many instruments are in the song, it's all of that. Another thing that's also kind of obvious, but it's not really that obvious, is just find something that normal people wouldn't be able to find. Sit there and listen to the song so much in your headphones, go to your car, listen to it on full blast, listen and find something that people would not normally hear and dance to it, because it makes it look so cool. It makes it look like you're not doing the obvious that everyone else is doing, because there's even choreographers who don't even listen to the music, don't even listen to the lyrics, and they're just dancing, and it's like, all right, that's just like moves. But if you're trying to really dance to the music, to be one with the music, you need to know everything about that song, every single violin, guitar, piano, lyric, level, literally every single thing. That's what's going to make your choreography stand out from everyone else. Another thing she said is to just know every single word to the song that you're choreographing to, period. Know every single word before you even start choreographing. So we also talked a little bit about social media after we talked about choreographing. There's really nothing special when it comes to social media. Of course, we talked about the normal things that you need to have on your social media if you want to be a professional dancer. It's good to have a close shot. It's good to have a full body shot so they can know exactly what you look like. It's good to, have every single type of style of dance that you want to do, that you want to be booked for. It's good to just have your Instagram looking like a resume. We all know that if we want to be professional professional dancer. If you want to be a choreographer, you know you need to be posting your choreography all the time. But one thing that she said that was a little bit different than everybody else, because she kind of does have a presence on social media. And one thing that she said about it, especially if you want to be someone in social media, for me, for example, I do want to be a professional dancer. I do want to dance. I do want to choreograph and do all those things, but I also am very into content creation. So this thing that she said really also inspired me. She said, 2 people may see your video today, but you never know, in a week, 2 billion people might see your video. That's happened with a lot of people before. That's happened to me before, which even pushes me to go further. Literally, I posted a YouTube short, I don't even know how many months ago, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it started going viral. Like, so viral, and I gained like over 250 subscribers from that video alone, which is still like not very much, but for me, as someone who hasn't been growing on YouTube that much and was trying to find ways to boost my growth, that absolutely took it out of the park, you know? So just be consistent and just know that things are coming, because they are. We talked a little bit about the relationship and the career balance as well in some of her lectures, but the most important thing that I just think that she said that I will always repeat, that I've also heard time and time again, is never let someone show you their true colors twice. When it comes to relationships, I feel like it's very hard and it's very different person by person, and it's really not something that you can go too deep into. You know, obviously if your friends are wanting you to go out and party every single night, those are definitely not the friends for you. If you're trying to become successful and I feel like that when it comes to relationships, she knew that we all knew, so she didn't go too deep into it. So like I said, after the program from 12 to 6, we had class from 8 to 10. We didn't have time, and because it wasn't just the program in class, we didn't really journal or do anything like that, but I took myself home and I made sure I journaled about how I was feeling and what happened during the class. And I was really glad that I did, because I personally felt like I had some setbacks in this class, but they weren't even like setbacks, because the whole entire weekend I was growing. Every time I go to Ysabelle's class, I always grow no matter what. So I think, you know, can't grow everything at once. So, but I want to talk about some of the notes that I wrote down. The first thing that I wrote down was, to me, there was a setback, like I just said, but there were no setbacks because the whole time I was vaulting myself forward no matter what. Even if I tried to not grow, there would still be growth, because that's just how challenging the whole entire class was in general. The choreography was so hard for me. The next thing that I wrote down were there were a couple habits that still creeped into this class that I still need to work on. For example, never going to the front of the class, even when I knew the choreography. I'm not talking about when I didn't know the choreography and I was struggling, but when I finally did get it, still not going to the front of the class, even though the majority of the people that were in the class I knew and were in the program with me, so I should feel comfortable going with them. But other than that, I also wrote down that I was extremely challenged but kept calm, and I still did not negatively talk to myself like I would normally do, because I remembered the day before that just does not serve me well. The next thing that I wrote down was that you need to drill whatever you're doing wrong. A lot of the times I just let things slide because they kind of look right, but they don't completely look right, because I don't completely know what I'm doing. But I want to stop doing that. And she even said, like, if you don't know something, watch and fix it. Like, don't keep doing it wrong. Literally fix it, because why would you keep doing it wrong? Like, she didn't say that, but I said that in my head, because like, why would you keep doing it wrong? Anyways, drill whatever I am doing wrong so I can do it better. And then the last thing that I wrote down was that I do feel myself getting better and working on my cleanliness and getting better at that too. And this is truly one of the hardest combos I have ever done, so I'm really, really proud of myself regardless of how I did. And I did amazing, because I did understand the combo, I got the combo, I got the part down that I needed to drill that I was doing wrong. I didn't have any negative talk throughout the whole entire thing, so to me the class was a win. Yes, I did stay in the back, but you know, you can't win them all. Sunday was the last day. We had to go in from 11:30 to 3. Like I said, the first thing that we had to do when we got in was journal about the day before, and also journal about how we were feeling on the last day, and also the goals that we had for the last day. I had written down that I was feeling tired, physically and emotionally sore and achy, and also like I'm growing mentally times a million thousand. Like, I don't even know the number that I wrote down, but a lot. And then my goals for the day were to stay present in the moment, even though I'm overwhelmingly tired and want to go to sleep, and also just survive, because what was thrown at us the day before was a lot, but it needed to be what I could handle. So I was like pushing myself. I was like, how much can you handle? You know, like, can you do all this and still come out on top at the end? I mean, there is no on top, but mentally, can you still come out on top? In the end, can you survive? The next goal that I wrote down was to work hard and to be full out, even though I am feeling sore and achy. This is what I mean. This was the time to show how far I can actually push. Another goal that I had today was just to be grateful. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful that I'm in the room. Grateful for dance. Grateful for breath. Grateful for life. Grateful for growth. Just everything. And to just stay focused. At the very end, she gave us some book recommendations as to some books that helped her out, which I will be reading as well as soon as I'm done with my book that I'm reading right now, which is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which you guys all should read. It's so good. But the books that she mentioned were Stillness Speaks, which she kind of summarized as life is right now, be present and be still. And the other book that she mentioned was The Mountain Is You. And she summarized this book as along the lines of, you're the only thing stopping you from getting what you want. I told y'all in the beginning that a lot of people were coming to kind of get this clarity with their mentality and with dance. And with that, there were a lot of things that I wrote down from what she said that I thought would help. One of those things being, know when it's time to take some things not too serious so you can continue to grow. The second thing that she said is you can go to a studio and just listen to music. You don't always have to record. You don't always have to post something on Instagram. You can literally just go to the studio, dance around, wiggle around. You can go lay down on the floor. You could not dance at all. And you could just listen to the music and listen to the beats and dissect the music, and that would be completely fine because you would still be growing. Now, I just want to mention, she said all these things in various different points of various different lectures, but these are what I felt like would help the most when it came to falling in love with dance again. The next thing that I wrote in this was, don't leave behind who you are. Balance between career and self. If you know who you are, no matter how many no's you get, you'll always be secure within yourself. And you'll always know that something is coming your way. I wrote down a couple things that I personally took away from this program that I want to mention, just because, like I said, this program was absolutely amazing. But if I could pinpoint some specific things that I took away, the first thing would be just even more confidence in my ability to just dance, period. The second thing that I wrote down was knowledge on how to choreograph, and especially what to do when you get stuck. Another thing that I personally took away is happiness in the fact that I can control my fate, and sometimes things will just fall into place, but always just keep doing what you know you are meant to be doing. Another thing that I learned is knowing that I can step away from dance or whatever it may be, and it won't take away from who I am as a dancer or a person. And if you need a break mentally, it's better to take that break mentally than it is to break yourself physically. Another thing that I learned was to love dance again, truly. Just the energy in that room was just insane. Everybody loving on each other. The inspiration that I got from all these amazing dancers was out of this world. I learned that I want to do something just like that one day. I want to do a program just like that one day, bringing together mental health and dance, closing that gap even more. And yeah, I have endless good things to say about this program, and I seriously could go on and on. As y'all have seen, it's literally been an hour and 10 minutes worth of a podcast. Jesus Christ, I've been talking for an hour and 10 minutes. But what you should really take from this podcast is two things about Ysabelle Cap's program. The first being, if you're a dancer, when she does another program, you need to be in there like Times Square. Seriously, get in her program because it changed a lot for me. And the second thing is that she is living proof that you can manifest the life that you want, and all you have to do is put action behind what you want, stay consistent, and step on the gas. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give it a big thumbs up. If you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It really, really helps me out a lot. If you want to hear more about dance things, please let me know in the comments because I love talking about dance. As you can see, this is definitely going to be the longest podcast I have ever put up, and it's definitely going to be up on Monday instead of Sunday because as of right now, it is 8 p.m. and I need to get ready to go to bed for tomorrow morning. If you want to catch me on a more daily basis with a little bit more of an inside look on my life, my TikTok is tiffany.garuba and my Instagram is tiffanygaruba with no dot in the middle. I hope you guys have such an amazing week. Remember to be kind to yourself and to others. Say something nice to someone that you don't know. I swear it'll make their whole entire day. And I love y'all so much. I'll see y'all next week. Bye. Mwah. Period. The end. Pausing this. So the program actually started with a merchandise. Why did I say it like that?